to the left. Ready? Ready? All right, sit down. Please rise for the J.M. Robinson High School class of 2017 and remain standing for the presentation of colors. Please be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Chris Louder, Superintendent of Cabarrus County Schools, and on behalf of the Cabarrus County Board of Education and the Cabarrus County Schools Administration, I would like to welcome you to today's graduation ceremony as we celebrate and recognize the class of 2017. For the last 12 years, I have attended all the graduation ceremonies for Cabarrus County Schools. Each one of them is unique and special, but this year is very different because this year I have a daughter who's graduating from high school. My daughter Haley is part of the class of 2017, and that makes this year's graduation extra special. I graduated from high school 30 years ago in 1987. As I have been contemplating my daughter's graduation from high school, I've also thought a lot about my own. It was very difficult being 18 years old and about to graduate from high school because you're in this type of purgatory where some days you feel like a child and some days you feel like an adult. And all the people around you, some days they treat you like a child and some days they treat you like an adult. With that in mind, I've tried to consider what I was thinking about and feeling right before my own graduation. I distinctly remember constantly listening to one of my favorite songs of all time called Independence Day by Bruce Springsteen. For those of you who haven't been Bruce Springsteen fans for the last 35 years like I have, he and his dad famously had a difficult relationship that he writes about in many of his songs. Independence Day is a song written from the perspective of a young man who comes in and talks to his father the night before he leaves home the next morning. In my mind, I've always pictured that conversation taking place at the kitchen table right after the narrator comes home from his last night out before he leaves home the next morning. The chorus of the song begins with and often repeats, "Say goodbye, it's Independence Day." Besides listening to the song a million times, I've also read and watched many things that Mr. Springsteen has said about the song and what he was thinking about when he wrote it. What I remember loving so much about the song was that it captured all the elements that I was thinking and feeling during that time. It had this sense of sadness that the narrator felt about leaving home and that his life was going to change in ways maybe he wasn't aware of. It had this sense of regret that maybe he could have been a better person or a better son. And it also had what Mr. Springsteen refers to as the exhilaration of being cut free, just the joy of being able to live your own life. I remember thinking to myself on my graduation day that I was sad because I realized I may not see some of these people again, and that my life was going to change, and was I ready for that? I remember thinking that maybe I could have worked harder or been a better person. And I remember thinking, I cannot wait to get out of here and make my own decisions. Now, 30 years later, I find myself thinking a lot about many of the same things. The difference now is that I'm sitting on the other side of that table as the parent, and my daughter's talking to me about leaving home. I find myself being kind of sad because I'm going to miss her, and I'm going to miss having her around the house. I find myself thinking of many of the memories and important times in her life, like the day we brought her home from the hospital, her first day of preschool, her first day of kindergarten, seeing her face when her mom and I introduced her to her sister Maggie at the hospital and she wouldn't take off the shirt that said, "I'm the big sister." How excited she was when we went to see Hannah Montana and the Cheetah Girls live at Bojangles Coliseum. And the first day we watched her drive off alone in our van. When I think of my favorite memory, it is probably how I used to go into her room in the morning when she was a baby after she'd been asleep. And I would walk in and she would have bedhead, as many babies do after they've been asleep. And she would be standing up in this pink fuzzy onesie that zipped up in the front, and she would just smile and laugh and bounce in the crib because she was so glad to see me. And I would go over and pick her up and she would hug me and be really warm and have that great baby smell. I also find myself feeling some regret and thinking about what I could have done better. Did I prioritize the right things with her? Was I a good role model? Did I spend enough time with her? Was I a good enough father? And lastly, I'm excited for her because I know she's excited and she has the exhilaration of being cut free. I know that she is looking to make a connection with other people in the world that everyone is looking for and striving for. And I know that she has to cut her own path. And there's tremendous satisfaction in doing things for yourself and making your own decisions and mistakes. And I want her to know that satisfaction. You see, half of me would go back half of me would give my right arm to go back in time and walk into that room and have her bounce in the crib because she's glad to see me. But the other half knows that you can't go back in time and that life keeps moving forward and progressing. And if we went back in time, then she would never know the joy of living her own life and having her own family and walking in her own baby's room and seeing her own baby excited to see her and bounce in that crib and smell her own baby's smell. Part of being a healthy adult is moving forward and cutting your own path. And as scary as that seems, she will cut a different path that is her own and may be different from the one that I want or envision for her. Or as the song says so well, all men must make their way come Independence Day. Class of 2017, Independence Day has come. You have worked hard, and graduating from high school is a great achievement. I know some of you are sad, and some of you have regret, and some of you just can't wait to get out of here. But most of you have a mixture of all those feelings, and you'll have to manage those feelings and figure out your destiny and where you come from and where you're going. That's all part of becoming an adult. So as you leave and go out into the world, leave with purpose and determination, and take the exhilaration of being cut free and use your freedom and your independence to do great things and be a great person and make the world a better place. So to the class of 2017, we say congratulations. We're very proud of you. We love you very much. You are ready and prepared, and we can't wait to see what you become. As you take your first steps into the world, soak in this day, grab everyone that you care about, tell them what they mean to you and that you love them, and say goodbye. It's Independence Day.
On behalf of the J.M. Robinson class of 2017, I would like to welcome Dr. Lauder and the other honored guests seated on the platform, the faculty and staff members of J.M. Robinson High School, and the family and friends of our graduates. We are thankful for the support and mentorship you have provided us these last 4 years. It is what inspired us to keep going, helped us over hurdles, and led us to this monumental day in our lives. As I reflect on the last 4 years here at Robinson, what sticks out to me are the lessons our teachers, coaches, and other role models have taught us that weren't in the curriculum, life lessons. Things like being passionate about your goals and aspirations and challenging yourself to fulfill your full potential. Most importantly, they try to teach us to be kind to one another and appreciate our differences and to celebrate the diversity that we all have, that we experience at J-Rob on a daily basis. The social rights activist Desmond Tutu said, "We inhabit a universe that is characterized by diversity." I'd like to take a moment to introduce you to our class of 2017. We are a unique and diverse bunch. We have each played a variety of roles, each adding to the whole of Robinson. We are musicians, entertainers, thespians, and artists. We are engineers, scientists, and mathematicians. We are historians, writers, and cultural interpreters. We are servant leaders of our school and in our community. We are advocates for our causes. We are athletes of the courts and of the fields. We are rowdies. We are the class of 2017. My fellow classmates, as we prepare to transition into our new adventures in this life, I would like to leave you with a few final thoughts. Seek out each other's differences. Allow them to help you grow and expand your thinking. Don't give up when you encounter others that may try to discourage you from having your passions and make you feel weird for having them. Find a way to make it through. Believe in yourself, because your passion and motivation will help you to fulfill your every ambition in this life. Thank you.
Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Austin. It is my pleasure to introduce our platform guests, beginning with members of the Board of Education. Will those who are present please stand when I call your name? Mr. Barry Shoemaker, Board Chair. Ms. Carolyn Carpenter, Board Vice Chair, Mr. David Harrison, Mr. Rob Walter, Mr. Tim Furr, Mr. Vince Powell, Mrs. Cindy Furtenbaugh, and Cabarrus County Schools Superintendent Dr. Chris Lauder. And from the School District Office, Mrs. Lynn Reimer, Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Kelly Props, Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Crystal Hill, Superintendent, Mrs. Glenda Jones, Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Kelly Klutz, Chief Financial Officer. Thank you for choosing to join us today. In addition, I would also like to introduce the following representatives of J.M. Robinson High School who are on stage. From our Student Services Department, Mrs. Whitney Matthews, Mrs. Lori McDaniels, and Mr. Damon Whalen. From our administration, Mr. Gregory Hall, Principal, Dr. Amanda Macon, Assistant Principal, and Assistant Principals, Mr. Stacy Douglas and Mr. Brad Henson, who are helping with today's ceremony on the floor. And finally, it is my sincere pleasure to introduce the J.M. Robinson Class of 2017 officers. Austin Matthews, President, Amanda Byrne, Vice President, Sydney Romano, Treasurer, and myself, Callista Sheriff, Secretary, as well as Ida Ekubon, J.M. Robinson Student Body Vice President, and Elena Newell, the Class of 2017 Commencement Speaker. There are many people that work hard to make our ceremony a success. Please join me in thanking the student and faculty volunteers, including the JROTC under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Rose and Master Sergeant Outram, the members of our band under the direction of Mr. Drew Carter, our advanced ensemble and chamber choir under the direction of Miss Vivian Howard. Thank you for volunteering your time and talents today. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce the J.M. Robinson Advanced Ensemble and Chamber Choir under the direction of Mrs. Vivian Howard, who will present an Irish Blessing by Jeremy Hansen as a tribute to the Class of 2017. Thank you, Mrs. Howard. Every year, the senior class takes the time to choose symbols consisting of the senior colors, song, flower, and motto. These symbols express the character of the Class of 2017. To present the class symbols, please welcome Sydney Romano.
Seniors, congratulations. Today is the day we have all endlessly anticipated. As actor Alan Alda once said, "You have to leave the city of your comfort and go into the wilderness of your intuition." You can't get there by bus, only by hard work and risk not quite knowing what you're doing. But what you'll discover will be wonderful. What you'll discover will be yourself. Reaching this new chapter in our lives would not be the least bit possible without your families. They are beyond proud of who we have become and what we will be. Every senior class at J.M. Robinson has the opportunity to choose a variety of symbols that best represent the class. Our class motto is "Life's a Pickle." I'm sure most of us today can agree that high school wasn't as easy as we thought it would be. The late-night cram sessions, struggling with procrastination, essays, and plenty of other blood-pressure-raising assignments. As I look back on all of it, not only is it a sigh of relief, but it taught me that all of the hard work paid off. I mean, look at us. We're all here, aren't we? Life will get hard at times after this, no matter where we go or what we do, because life is a pickle. Sometimes you get the sweet ones, and other times you get the sour. Our class song is "We Go Together" from the popular movie Grease. This song symbolizes the strong bond our class holds. We will always remain a part of the Bulldog family. Our class flower is a sunflower. The sunflower is also known as the happy flower. The vibrant yellow petals of the flower symbolizes vitality and intelligence. The class of 2017 has demonstrated all of these values during our pep rallies, sports games, and strong leadership in clubs and other activities. Our class colors are maroon and white. Maroon symbolizes strength, courage, excitement, desire, and passion. The color white symbolizes humility, understanding, brilliance, and completeness. Seniors, carry these colors wherever life takes you. Not only are they our school colors, but they are the colors that reflect what your experience these past 4 years Robinson has given you. We will remember the football games, the friendships, and those stressful exams. We will carry these moments as we create new experiences in the next chapter of our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all remember the class of 2017 through these symbols. Our school has never had an alma mater, which is a song that is dedicated to the values and ideals of a specific school. This year, Ms. Vivian Howard has composed one for our school as a gift to all past, present, and future graduates. Please welcome once again the Advanced Ensemble and Chamber Choir, who will perform the J.M. Robinson High School alma mater for the first time under the direction of Ms. Howard.
Thank you, Mrs. Howard. It is my extreme pleasure to introduce the 2017 commencement speaker. Elena Newell was selected from the many outstanding seniors who submitted speeches and auditioned to present today's commencement speech. The daughter of Al and Patricia Newell, Elena has been an active member of our school community. She is the current student body treasurer, the president of the International Thespian Society, and an active member of the Triumph Music Honor Society. Elena plans to attend Western Carolina University in the fall and major in musical theater. Please join me in welcoming Elena Newell.
Good afternoon. There seems to be a lot of thanking that goes on during these ceremonies, but I feel like there's one group that has not been properly thanked yet. Thank you, class of 2017, for getting this far, for putting in countless hours, blood, sweat, and tears, and finally reaching this point. We are about to graduate high school and venture off into the real world, a world full of new people, new places, and new experiences. It's exciting, and I have a little bit of advice on how to make the best of this next chapter in our lives. Reba McEntire once said, "To succeed in life, you need 3 things: a wishbone, a backbone, and a funny bone." Let's start with the wishbone. I believe that every person on this earth has a purpose, and it is up to them alone to discover and pursue that purpose. If you will be spending this next year in college, joining the military, or entering the workforce, please be sure that whatever choice you are making for yourself. We live in a world where you can do whatever you want to do if you work hard enough. It is up to you, not your parents or your teachers, but you, to make your path and live the life that you want. No day is promised. You have to run towards your dreams with every day so that at the end of your life, you will have no regrets about the decisions you have made, because whether they were good or bad choices, they were yours. Speaking of choices, we're going to be making a lot of those in the next few years, and when we do, it is important that we stand strong in our decisions. This is where that backbone comes in. The world is a beautiful place filled with amazing opportunities, but it can also be extremely intimidating. There are people out there who don't always have your best interests at heart, people who will constantly try to deter you from going through with your plans. Some of these are so convincing you may start to believe them, but if you remember your backbone and stand strong in your decisions, you can tune out all the negativity and continue to pursue your dreams. The last thing I want to talk to you about is maintaining a funny bone. All of your plans will change, people will change, and all the things that seem like the end of the world now will seem like insignificant memories in a couple years, and it'll be easier to deal with problems if you aren't afraid to laugh at yourself and move forward. In a few years, we're all going to look back at our time here and laugh because we cried over getting a B instead of an A in a class, or we didn't get the solo that we wanted in chorus, or you didn't make the varsity team the year you wanted. Dwelling on your mistakes will just waste your time. Motivational speaker Zig Ziglar once said, "It's not how far you fall, but how high you bounce that counts." We aren't perfect. We will make countless mistakes, but it is only considered a failure if we don't learn from those mistakes and laugh at them every once in a while. The person you are today looks nothing like the person you were 4 years ago. I want you to take this time to look around at the fellow graduates on either side of you. This will probably be the last time that you will be in the same room as them. And whether you know them well or not, take the time to say goodbye before we leave, because we have all been working so hard side by side to get to this point. And I don't know about you, but I'm very excited to see what the future holds. Congratulations, class of 2017.
Thank you, Elena. I would like to introduce Ida Ekuban, the student body president, with her class of 2017 reflections.
Well, class of 2017, now is the time to focus on us and our past 4 years at Robinson. It is time to think about how refreshing it felt to wake up at 6 a.m. every single day, how much we enjoyed following the school dress code, and how we are absolutely thrilled with the 4 hours of homework we were assigned on a nightly basis. Just kidding. I don't know about you, but there are many parts of the past 4 years that I would rather forget. The multiple all-nighters, running late to class, cramming for tests, and the long school days were not the best parts of the past 4 years. I'm concerned when adults tell me to cherish my high school years because they're the best 4 years of my life. I certainly hope not. I hope for all of our sakes that it only gets better from here. However, those adults were right when they told me that high school would be gone in the blink of an eye. I can't believe that it was 4 years ago we were nervous freshmen stepping through the doors of J.M. Robinson, facing the beginning of what seemed like forever at the time. Today, I am just as nervous as I speak to you all, not because there are about 1,000 people staring at me right now, but because we're now moving on to the next phase of our lives and leaving all that we've known in high school behind. And that's a little bit scary. But in the face of that fear, I'm so excited because I know that this is a day we've all been waiting for since our freshman year of high school. We thought we looked super cool with our braces, plaid Aeropostale shirts, bad haircuts, and sparkly nail polish. We were unsure of what our role in the landscape of high school would be. We tried out for sports, joined clubs, made new friends, and eventually we found our place. Before we knew it, we were sophomores, so much more experienced than our dorky freshman selves. We knew how to get to our classes and where to sit in the cafeteria. We were no longer at the back of the rowdy section, but we still weren't up front with the upperclassmen. We were in a weird in-between place in our high school careers, but that was okay because we were just happy to no longer be dorky freshmen. Next came junior year, which was a blur of standardized tests, AP exams, finally being able to drive, getting our first job, and constantly stressing about our GPA. With the additional responsibility we gained, we were also given more freedom. We were so close to the end, and we were ready to be seniors. And suddenly, we were. We went from being underdogs to leaders of the school. We spent this year securing our future by applying to jobs, looking for colleges to go to, and searching for scholarships. We experienced many lasts: our last football game, last basketball game, last club meeting, last school dance, last time eating at lunch with our friends, and the last time we would walk the halls of Robinson as students. But when I look back on high school, things like the unit circle or polyatomic ions don't stick out in my memory. I remember how things made me feel. Maya Angelou once said, "I've learned that people forget what you said, people forget what you did, but people never forget how you made them feel." High school was a roller coaster of emotions, but there are a handful that stick out to me. I remember the school spirit I felt when our basketball team won states junior year, or when our football team won conference this year. I remember the anxiety I felt before taking my exams every year. I remember the gratitude I felt when my teachers went the extra mile to help me understand something in class. I remember the late nights at cookout and the feeling of freedom when the bell rang at 2:15 every day. We all felt prideful when we saw our long hours outside of school pay off, whether it's on the field, the court, the classroom, or in our community. These are the feelings and moments that we will remember for the rest of our lives. So whether you had a fantastic time in high school and would do it all over again, or you're just waiting for me to finish because you're itching to walk across the stage and receive your diploma, our time at Robinson is where we formed our identity as young adults. It's where we found our passions, met lifelong friends, and made some memories. Today, we stand with high school behind us, facing our bright future. Thank you all for an unforgettable 4 years. Class of 2017, I'm happy to say that we finally made it.
Good afternoon. Dr. Louder, distinguished guests, friends, and families, thank you for joining us this afternoon as we celebrate the outstanding young men and women of the class of 2017. Class of 2017, you are truly an impressive group of young people. On behalf of the Robinson faculty and staff, I want to thank you for all you've contributed to our school, to our community, for making us proud to be Bulldogs, and I want you to know how sincerely we will miss you, and we wish you the best of luck going forward. Dr. Louder and special guests, it is my pleasure to present the following candidates for graduation from J.M. Robinson High School. Denoted in each program are our honor graduates who will be recognized on stage by their stoles and cords. Please follow the notations in your programs. Cum laude graduates have maintained at least a 3.625 grade point average. Magna cum laude at least a 4.0, and summa cum laude a 4.32 or higher. So that each graduate will be respected, I ask that you hold your applause and wait quietly so all names can be heard until the last graduate's name is called. Thank you. Class of 2017, it's time to graduate.
Amanda Therese Byrne, excuse me. Ida Mosi Aikibon. Austin Ricky Matthews. Elena Ruth Nicole Newell. Sydney Lynn Romano. Callista Nicole Sheriff. Adriana Adame Vargas. Gloria Michelle Alberon. Jackson Lee Aldridge. Justin Javon Allenby. Joy Michaela Allen. Cameron Sharon Allen Perry. Audrey Ann Allison. Bakar Jaleel Anderson. Jason William Anderson. Tierra Ina Anderson. Nico Wiley Aquilina. Haley Elizabeth Arabaz. Madia Arifi. Brandon Ariola Tameo. Sarah Caitlin Ashball. Corey Leonard Baker Jr. Dulce Paola Barbosa Patricio. Tomia McNair Barnes. Dakota Lane Bars. Lexi Sarah Barton. LeVar Joe Harris Batts Jr. Jacqueline Becerra Castillo. Nia Nayara Belgrave Joseph. Alex Gerard Belofsky. Sean Taylor Benj. Olivia Alexandria Benjamin. Brianna Marie Hime Bennett. Hannah Christine Bennett. Jayana Simone Bennett Sanders. Adam Joseph Beal. Michael Alexander Biggs. Joseph Paul Bizjack. Jacob Harris Black. Sophia Catherine Blake. Larissa Leanne Blankenship. Vanessa Rose Bloss. Ariana Nicole Boucher. Asia Renee Bulware. Savannah Elizabeth Bowen. Trevor Kurt Byram. Jenna Elaine Cameron. Edwin J. Cardenas Benitez. Matthew Zane Cobble. Sindel Alexis Cottle. Nick Carl Chatzes. Alvatasia Arcasia Clark. Veronica Amelia Cliff. Victoria Alexis Cloninger. Kiesia Nicole Coates. Alexa Rose Cottaspati. Jade Nicole Cottaspati. Emma Blakely Coggins. Deasia Marie Coleman. Wesley Sean Cook. Let's switch. Cameron Camille Cotman. Madison Olivia Crow. We don't have that one. Huh? What? Yeah, of course. Scott Cottrell. Jalen Michael Curitan. Kyron Lavon Curry.
Joshua Hunter Dale, Demaje Zachary Davis, Victoria Carol Day, Clayton Tanner Dean, Kyle Braden Dean, Sarah Eliza DeArmond, Jake Thomas Dijon, Jacob Robert Dempster, Victoria Ray DeMarco, Ayaris Carari Dominguez Avila, Eric Salinas Dominguez, Amber Nicole Dover, Cheyenne Skylar Downs, Michael Brandon Duke, Kyle Christopher Dunn, Jairi Aterio Mosley Dyer, Brooklyn Star Eason, Mariana Louise Elia, Lindsay Ann Elias, Jacob Christopher Eller, Jason Thomas Ellisor, Caitlin Elizabeth Evans, Kyle Watson Evans, Paul Gregory Evans, Monea Lanice Ferris, Khadijah Murray Flo, Veronica Jule Flo, Erin Elizabeth Fowler, Marissa Lynn Franklin, Kayla Lynn Freed, Blake McKinnon Furr, Sebastian Gallardo Rios, Daniel Garcia, Elisabetta Jambanco, Kevin Mauricio Gonzalez Carranza, Jalen Kennard Govan, Marquise Amir Graham, Maya Jacinda Gray, Joshua Beckett Green, Sean Edward Gresham, Lindsay Michelle Griffin, April Kathleen Halterman, Christine Marie Halterman, Hyatt Parker Hames, Peyton Sharice Hamilton, Aaliyah Jesselyn Hammer, Harvasia Deshawn Harris, Heaven Lee Harris, Caroline Nicole Hastings, Sarah Jeanette Hayes, Isaiah Khalil Hendricks, Lawrence Levante Laurel Henry, Danielle Therese Hilly, Victoria Elizabeth Hinson, Tamara Nicole Holland, Kyle Com Hungsatharath, Decarius Michael Hoosier, Nadia Mahogany Hooks, Ramel Fuquan Horlback, Seth Michael Horn, Brittany Nicole Horton, Kiera Renee Horton, Courtney Lynn Hux, Tina Marie Honeycutt, Josiah Donnell Hunt, Maya Alma Hunter, Clark Williams Ivy,
Natalie Lachey Jacobs, Ramon Ariel Jaquez, Brandon Joseph Jarmasik, Ayana Monique Jefferson, Mackenzie Lynn Jenkins. Alyssa Brooks Johnson. Bradley Dale Johnson. Brittany Nicole Johnson. Caitlin Elizabeth Johnson. Jasmine Zipporah Johnson. Tyler Thad Johnson. Mariah Eloise Jones. Savannah Nicole Jones. Brooklyn Delynn Jordan. Shamaya Elise Jordan. Kyrie Deshawn Joyner. Perla Juarez Gomez. David Ilunga Kayembe. Christiana Kiera Kellum. Jarrett Michael Kiker. Kyle Austin King. Kylie Jessica Kennard. Danny Taplin Kaiser III. Jesse Michaela Korner. Emily Paige Kronk. Andrew Peter Krug. Elizabeth Ann Kunish. Calden Artek Kinji Lee. Jada Blake Leeper. Bryn Elise Loasis. Margie Lopez Rivera. Alejandro Lopez Rivera. Haley Christina Louder. Bryce James Malcolm. Rebecca Elizabeth Mangan. Patrina Levon Manning. Paige Mackenzie Manzi. Yvette Marici Cisneros. Leo Adiel Martinez. Carlos Daniel Martinez Aguirre. Joseph Isaiah Mason. Nicholas Reese Masters. Makaya Kiara Maston. Garrett Patrick McConnell. Nicholas Dean McDaniel. Kiesia Tynese McIntyre. Caitlin Ray McFadder. Destiny Nicole McRae. Noemi Medina Fernandez. Peyton Jacate Medlock. Christopher Mello Pelaez. Yahaira Arieli Mendez. David Alejandro Mendiola. Cindy Valerie Mendoza. Caitlin Blair Mills. McKenna Elizabeth Mills. Javante Ray Meisenheimer. Joseph Standish Monahan. Jacob Thomas Moore. Kyle Burke Moran. Miriam Moran. Andrea Moran Martinez. Elijah Silas Morgan. Celeste Nicole Morell. Hannah Nicole Morrison. Kaylin Marie Morrison. David Mosqueda Alvarez. Laura Elizabeth Munt. Johnny Lee Murillo. Michael Jacob Newcomb. Erica Renee Nixon. Autumn Jean Oglesby. Eric Anthony Oliver III. Dustin Yafeth Ordonez Olarte. Megan Noel Oshikeski. Ijemdina Ugana Ozadigwe. Seferino F. Ozuna V. Burley Euredia Patricio Carmona. Imani Janacia Louise Paul. Kylie Grace Payne. Madison Zoe Peace. Jillian Reed Pepper. Elizabeth Perez Perez. Emily Caroline Petralia. Drake Alexander Pfeiffer. Elijah Lamonte Farr. Liam Richard Porter. Grady Russell Price. Shantae Danielle Pride.
Jaciel Ramirez Hernandez. Bernard Miles Randolph III. Carlos Raya Zuniga Jr. Cody Austin Rice. Donovan Miles Ritter. Jamie Daniel Rivera. Jamari Dante Roberts. Standasia Kiera Robinson. Perla Rodriguez Vargas. Ashley Michelle Rodriguez Blanco. Rudiz Omar Rodriguez Ortez. Daniel Ramon Rosales Briones. Anna K. Rowden. Chanel Janae Russell. Janelle Shanae Russell. Nathaniel Terrence Ryan. Patrick Robert Ryan. Caleb Glenn Seyfried. Sandy Torreblanco Salgado. Elise Fur Ruiz Sanchez. Maria del Carmen Sandoval Sotelo. John Joseph Sangster. Alex Aryenes Santiago. Anna Jasmine Saravia. Joshua Anthony Serna. Tanner Wayne Sethna. Isaiah Mujarid Shabazz. Xavier Albion Gariel Ship. Aaron Chelsea Shy. Keith Donald Silver Overall. Terrain Jawad Simpson. Kaim Jalil Sims. Anya Chaquan Smith. Darian Nicole Smith. Jeremiah Luke Smith. Madison Lynn Smith. Sean Michael Smith. Pablo Luis Solicito. Caitlin Marie Solisher. Cameron Tremaine Sowell. Nathan Lee Sparks. Samira Shania Squires. Carly Ann Stanley. Ramon Jermaine Steele. Andre Elijah Stinson. Natalie Alina Taylor. Clayton Holbrook Teal. Coleman Sanderson Teal. Aaron William Tesh. Cameron James Thomas. William Van Thomas. Dylan Harvey Toledano. Joseph Robert Talone. David Torres Delgado. Zachary Vorodeth Train. Lindsay Diane Trapp. Moises Trinidad Santiago. Kiaja Denise Turner. McKenna Ashton Urbanski. Cameron James Utek. Alexander Bryce Van Hook. Denise Cruz Vargas. Shaiteria Diani Unique Ventris. Jacqueline Vigueras Lopez. Brandon Kong Vu. Tatiana Monique Wallace. Megan Michelle Waterman. Artez Montevillas Webb. Jake Anthony Weber. Abigail Lee Webster. Kelsey Morgan Weir. Bailey Nicole Westgate. Andrew Jason Weatherby. Matthew Townsend Whaley. Brianna LaKristen White. Jamisiona Makayla White. Colin Douglas Whiteley. Douglas Patrick Weiserak. Andrew Ross Yanoni. Cole Alexander Zarpis. Heidi Lynette Nolesko Juarez. Through the flowers placed in their chairs, we remember our fellow classmates, Katarina Raquel Kitka and Christopher Brian West.
Today is a milestone that marks the beginning of our lives, our transition from high schoolers to adults. From this point onward, we have the ability to start anew. We will go our individual ways and work towards a future that is personal to each of us. The last few years, we have all been striving towards the same goal, and here we are, all accomplished in our own ways. But now comes the time in our lives where we need to break away from our comfortable high school lifestyle. We need to stop dreaming and putting things off and start taking action. Take hold of your future and branch off to be an independent individual. When remembering this day down the road, it probably won't be for the dress you wore or the hundreds of pictures your parents made you take. This day will be remembered for your transition into independence, the beginning of the end. It is important, though, to remember, as we walk away from Robinson, it will not mark the end of our experience here, for JM will always be engraved in our memory, just the beginning of our new future. We will now move on from high school and take on the adventures that await us, accept individuality and our unique future. And with that, I congratulate us all on making it this far and wish every one of you good luck with what's to come.
Will the class of 2017 please stand? In the presence of these witnesses and by the power vested in me by the state of North Carolina and the Cabarrus County Board of Education, I now pronounce you graduates of J.M. Robinson High School. Ladies and gentlemen, On behalf of J.M. Robinson High School and Cabarrus County Schools, I'd like to thank you for coming to this afternoon's ceremony. We ask that you do not come onto the floor of the arena as the graduates recess. Please do meet the graduates in front of the arena following the recessional. May I ask you all to please stand as the graduates prepare to recess. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you the 2017 graduates of J.M. Robinson High School.
Thank you.